Social media has transformed into one of the most evil things to happen to the internet. In the last few years, these platforms that were designed to connect people, what a joke, have become this endless cycle of clout chasing, cringe dances, misinformation, gooning content, and of course, rage bait. And to be clear, this is by design. People are starting to notice how anxiety inducing and addictive social media has become. And as a result, there's a bit of a rebellion forming, with young people realizing that this isn't good for them, and with older people remembering that things didn't used to be this way. So today we're talking about how social media turned into the monster that it is, and why people are deciding that it's just not worth it anymore. You might not remember if you're in Gen Z, but if you're a young millennial like me, we grew into social media. Like, it was just starting while we were like high school aged. So we were kind of there from the inception of these apps. These were back in the days where we were still poking people on Facebook for fun, writing TBH statuses, hoping that the person you had a crush on liked it so that you could write something nice about them on their Facebook wall. We used to get excited when we got a little red notification instead of annoyed, because back then, it actually meant a real person was trying to interact with you. There were also the occasional beheadings on the platform, but nothing's perfect. Most importantly, this was a time where you saw posts from the people that you actually decided to follow or be friends with. It was truly your own personalized little world. It was honestly pretty cool to be on social media. But of course, it didn't last. Even though it created this great user experience, it was bad for business. You see, social media has a flawed business model. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, these platforms are all free because they want as many users as possible. So how do they make money? I mean, you already know the answer to this question because you watch them every single day. Ads. These platforms make money by showing you ads. And they get paid a lot of money to do this. I mean, just TikTok alone is estimated to be worth $330 billion. Now that is the type of money to make people do some pretty evil things. So knowing this, it became their goal to show people as many ads as possible. And I know that this isn't anything groundbreaking or new, but this is what set the stage for the beast that social media became. These companies learned that people don't like ads, surprise, surprise. And that if they showed people too many ads, that they would leave the platform. But instead of ditching the ads and finding another way to make money, they thought, well, if you guys don't like ads, that means we just got to show you better ads. So that's what they did. They became data collecting machines in an attempt to show you more relevant ads, collecting information on your location, your likes, your dislikes, the type of accounts you follow, even your emotional state. Back in 2016, an internal document leaked from Facebook, and it basically said that Facebook was offering its advertisers the ability to show ads to teens during moments of psychological vulnerability. Like when a teenager is feeling insecure, anxious, or sad, Facebook was telling the people who put ads on their platforms, hey yo, Lil Susie is upset that someone called her fat today. Get in here and show her some weight loss ads. And this is not some low-key thing, this is known information. There was literally a book written about this by the former director of public policy at Facebook. And in the book, she details all this disgusting behavior and how Facebook basically never even changed anything. It got announced to the world that they were doing this predatory behavior to teenagers. They apologized, but then they just didn't change it. Because that is their business model. That is all these social media companies' business model. They need to keep you on their platform to show you ads, and they will compete with any other app that comes out that is trying to do the same thing. They want our attention, and not just a portion of it, they want all of it. So that's why when TikTok came out, everything got so much worse. You see, a lot of people believe TikTok's major innovation was its vertical short form video, but that's really not it. No, what TikTok did was they said, screw a following feed. What we are going to do is we are going to show you content that we think you want to see based off the data we collected about you. We're going to show you what grabs your attention. We're going to show you what you interact with. We're going to show you what keeps you on the platform as long as possible, no matter who you choose to follow. And in hindsight, you'd think this wouldn't work. Who wants to be shown the content that they didn't willingly sign up for? But obviously now we know that it worked extremely well. So well that other platforms were scared you were going to leave them for TikTok. They were scared of losing their precious ad dollars by having you on their platform. So what did they do? They did what every successful company does when they feel threatened by a new product. They stole it. So now we get vertical short form video on all the other platforms. We get Reels on Instagram and Facebook. We get YouTube Shorts. We even get Spotlight on Snapchat, which I just learned existed. And with this addition of vertical short form content came their own TikTok style algorithms as well, where they no longer just show you content from people that you follow, they use those same data collection techniques that were used on Lil Susie to show her weight loss ads to show you content they know you'll watch. A lot of people think what makes social media so evil is that it shows you rage bait content on purpose. But that's only half true, because there are plenty of people who will argue that their algorithm never shows them rage bait content. It's all positive vibes and kittens. And that's probably true, but it's the same difference, because they don't care what you watch as long as you're watching for a long time. So they're not intentionally showing people rage bait content. It just so happens that the way the human brain works is that most of us are much more likely to pay attention to the things that make us angry or curious rather than the things that make us feel positive and calm. So knowing that, they're going to show you whatever content they know you are going to interact with. And that is what people have started to pick up on and don't like about social media. Recommended content is predatory. Although they will disguise it as a technique to show you content you'll like, and maybe sometimes you do see some things you like, the reality is these social media apps will never care about the actual content being shared on their platforms as long as it keeps people engaging. And the reason I can say this so confidently is because I am part of the problem. Over the past 7 years, I have made content for one of the biggest brands targeting Gen Z. I have devoted literal years of my life trying to figure out the best ways to grab attention and keep people's attention. And going into a job like this, you'd think creating content would be more about the creative aspect of things. But that's really such a small portion of the job. The real job when it comes to making content on social media is human psychology and numbers. Likes, comments, shares, clicks. When I'm creating my next piece of content, one of the last things I'm thinking about is how you're gonna feel when you see it. I'm thinking about if you'll engage with it. And as messed up as that sounds, I have been doing this long enough to know that this is a relatively new thing that has gotten so much worse over the years. It used to be bad form to only share the most attention-grabbing things for engagement. We called it clickbait, but now that's just how you make content. You used to be able to make dope things and provide value, and then people would follow you and you'd build a community. But now that doesn't even guarantee that your own followers will see your content. I mean, people's attention spans are so cooked that they won't even read a caption anymore. I could go into further detail, but just trust me when I tell you, it's gotten really bad. That's why I don't blame anyone for deleting their social media apps. There is no incentive anymore to make it an enjoyable experience when even the most seasoned creators are forced to post slop and rage bait to compete. The crazy part is, social media companies will still lie and try to say that their platforms are designed to connect you with your friends. If you go to the login screen of Instagram right now, it says, sign up to see photos and videos from your friends. A bold-faced lie before you even enter the app. And there's proof that this is a lie. Meta, the owner of Instagram, admitted themselves in a trial that only 7% of the time spent on Instagram was spent viewing content posted by friends. And I mean, if you use Instagram, you know this to be true. You could follow someone, add them to your close friends, favorite their account, like all of their content, but when Taylor Swift gets engaged, that is going to be the first post you see when you open up the app, whether you follow her or not. And it's for all these reasons that people don't just dislike social media, they despise social media. They hate the way it works, they hate the way it makes them feel, they hate the impact it's had on society. Social media detoxes, dumb phones, the push to touch grass in general, it's a movement because people are just over it. But let me know what you think about social media in 2025. Do you use it more or less now? Let me know in the comments. Joking!